The protagonist? Who? Whose name? Ebright. Okay. So he is the protagonist here. Protagonist means main character. So the butterfly collecting season around reading last 6 weeks in late summer, see graph below. If you are going to chase them one by one, you won't catch very many. So the next step for Ebright was to raise a flock of butterflies. Flock of butterflies. What is the part of speech of flock of butterflies? Satya. Collective noun. Can you give any example of other?
Bunch of bees.
Huh? Bunch of?
Bees.
Another? Herd of cattle. Okay. So next, tell me sheep. For sheep, what you will use? Sit down. You, Rashni. Huh? Okay. Understand? So these are called collective noun. He would catch a female monarch, take her eggs and raise them in his basement through their life cycle. You know the life cycle of butterfly? Okay. From life cycle, from egg to caterpillar to pupa to adult butterfly. This is the life cycle of a butterfly. Then he would tag the butterfly's wings and let them go. For several years his basement was home to thousands of monarchs in different stages of development. Different stages of development means the stages of development of what? When that butterfly is a caterpillar, when it is a pupa, when it is become a butterfly. Eventually, what is the part of speech of eventually? Eventually part of speech? Eventually I began to lose interest in tagging butterflies. What it shows? Huh? It shows the time. Eventually I began. And the word that shows the time is called adverb. And also the word that describes more about verb is also called adverb. Eventually I began to lose interest in tagging butterflies. It is tedious and there is not much feedback. Ebright said, in all the time I did it. He laughed. Only 2 butterflies I had tagged were recaptured and they were not more than 75 miles from where I lived. Okay. So another word there is tedious. What do you mean by tedious? What is a part of speech? Okay, go. Tedious, what is the meaning of part of speech of tedious? Close it, close it. What is a part of speech? Tell. Noun. It is tedious and there is not much feedback. Tedious is describing the noun. That means what it is? Adjective. What is the meaning of tedious? What is the meaning of tedious?
Tedious means very clean.
Huh?
Very clean way.
Clean way. Clean manner, yes. अच्छा, tedious. Okay. Next you have, अच्छा, last class I have told you verb 1, verb 2, verb 3, what is strong verb and weak verb. Another verb you have laugh. The verb 2 form of laugh is what? Huh? Laughing. Laughed, then laughed. Okay, then which type of verb it is, strong or weak? Last class I told you verb is of two types, one is strong, another is weak. What type of verb it is? What is strong verb and what is weak verb? What is strong verb? The verb that have different form of verb 2 and verb 3, that is called strong verb. And the verb that don't have any changes in verb 2 and verb 3, that is called weak verb. Put. Yes or no? Cut. Yes or no? So this is called what? Which type of verb? Weak verb. So laugh is which type of verb? Huh? Strong verb, because it the past form of the laugh is different than the present form. Yes or no? Are yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So next, then in the 7th grade he got a hint of what real science is. Okay. In 7th grade means in the 7th standard, he got a hint of what real science is when he entered a county science fair. County means, yes, county science fair. County means the region. Regional science fair. You know, county science fair, and lust, it was really a sad feeling to sit there and not get anything while everybody else had won something. Ebright said his entry was slides of frog tissues. Okay, tissue, you know, in biology you have studied tissues, which he showed under a microscope. You are in the practical part, they are doing in the microscope, they are researching in that frog tissue. He realized the winners had tried to do real experiments, not simply make a neat display. Already the competitive spirit that drives Richard Ebright was appearing. I knew that for the next year's fair, I would have to do a real experiment. In the next science fair, he will do one real experiment. Okay. Those kept Ebright busy all through high school and led to prize projects in county and international science fairs. So in the high schools, he only tried his best to make a real experiment in the county and international science fair. County is regional and international science fair. For his 8th grade project, Ebright tried to find the cause of a viral disease. One of a viral disease you just suffered from. What is that? Huh? COVID-19, that is also viral disease. So in the 8th grade, Ebright tried to find the cause of a viral disease that kills nearly all monarch caterpillars. That viral disease nearly killed all the monarch caterpillars every few years. Ebright thought the disease might be carried by a beetle. Okay. He tried raising caterpillars in the presence of beetles. I didn't get any real results, he said, but I went ahead and showed that I had tried the experiment. This time I won. So there is one sentence is written, the disease might be carried. The disease carried by whom? Carried by whom? Beetles. mite. What is mite? What is mite? What is mite? What is it called? Praveen, what you call mite? Mite, can, could. What are these? Modals. Now tell what is the meaning of mite here? Probability. It is the past form of might here used. Yes or no? Might. The past form of might. What it shows? The disease might be carried by beetle. Probability, or you can say possibility. All of you write down this in your copy. All of you write down. This might shows here probability or possibility of something. Okay. Yes, the next year his science fair project was testing the theory that viceroy butterflies copy monarchs. Are you not writing? Write down. The next year this science fair project was testing the theory that viceroy butterflies copy monarchs. The theory was that viceroys took like monarchs because monarchs don't taste good to birds. Viceroys on the other hand do taste good to birds. So the more they look like monarchs, the less likely they are to become a bird's dinner. Okay. They are very much interested to look like a monarch, but they are less likely they are to become a bird's dinner because birds were chasing them to eat it. Okay. Ebrard's project was to see whether in fact birds would eat monarchs. Okay. He found that a starling would not eat ordinary bird food. Okay. What do you mean by starling? What do you mean by starling? Common European bird with black brown spotted plumage which nests near building and is a good mimic. Got it? What is the part of speech of starling? Noun. So what it is meaning? Common European bird. Common European bird. Yes, where I left? Monarchs don't taste good birds. Viceroy Ebrard project was to see whether in fact birds would eat monarchs. He found that a starling would not eat ordinary bird food. Starling, that common European bird would not eat ordinary bird food. जो ordinary bird food were taking, that food, that common European bird is not taking that type of food. It would eat all the monarchs it could get. Ebrard said later research by other people showed that viceroys probably do copy the monarch. This project was placed first in the zoology division and third overall in the county science fair. So what he was going to do? For which type of research he was going to do? In the county science fair? Huh? Birds? Monarch, yes. In his second year in high school, Richard Ebrard began the research that led to his discovery of an unknown insect hormone. Indirectly, it also led to his new theory on the life of cells. So, new theory in the life of cells. The question he tried to answer was simple. What is the purpose of the 12 tiny gold spots on a monarch pupa? Pupa is the second form of. What is pupa? What is pupa? From egg, then caterpillar, then pupa, then it formed to butterfly. Yes. Everyone assumed the spots were just ornamental, Ebright said, but Dr. Orcutt didn't believe it. Okay. To find the answer, Ebright and another excellent science student first had to build a device that showed that the spots were producing a hormone necessary for the butterfly's full development. This project won Ebright first place in the county fair. In that county fair, this project made him first. Okay. And entry into the International Science and Engineering Fair. If you will do good in the county fair, then you will be selected, that Ebright selected for the next level, that is International and Engineering Fair. There he won third place for zoology. He also got a chance to work during the summer at the entomology laboratory of the Walter Reed Army Institute of Research. What is entomology? Study of insects. There he won the third place over. As a high school junior, Richard Ebright continued his advanced experiment on the monarch pupa. That year, his project won first place at the International Science Fair and gave him another chance to work in the army laboratory during the summer. Okay. In his senior year, he went a step further. He grew cells from a monarch's wing in a culture and showed that the cells would divide and develop into normal butterfly wing scales only if they were fed the hormone from the gold spots. That project won first place for zoology at the International Fair. He spent the summer after graduation doing further work at the Army Laboratory and at the laboratory of the US Department of Agriculture. The following summer, after his freshman year at Harvard University, Ebright went back to the laboratory of the Department of Agriculture and did more work on the hormone from the gold spots using the laboratory's sophisticated instruments. He was able to identify the hormone's chemical structure. A year and a half later, during his junior year, Ebright got the idea for his new theory about cell life. Okay. It came while he was looking at X-ray photos of the chemical structure of a hormone. When he saw those photos, Ebright didn't shout, "Eureka!" or even "I have got it." But he believed that along with his findings about insect hormones, the photos gave him the answer to one of biology's puzzle. Okay. How the cell can read the blueprint of its DNA. DNA, RNA, you know from biology. DNA is the substance in the nucleus of a cell that controls heredity. It determines the form and function of the cell. Thus, DNA is the blueprint for life. You know that is. Ebright and his college roommate James R. Wong worked all that night drawing pictures and constructing plastic models and molecules to show how it could happen. Together, they later wrote the paper that explained the theory. Surprising no one who knew him, Richard Ebright graduated from Harvard with highest honors. Second in his class of 1510, Ebright went on to become a graduate student researcher at Harvard Medical School. There he began doing experiments to test his theory. Okay, so another there is the degree of what? Degree of the adjectives. What are they? Positive, comparative, then superlative. Okay. So highest is in which degree? Superlative. What is the positive degree? High. What is the comparative? Higher. If I will tell the positive degree is splendid, now tell me the comparative degree and the superlative degree. Huh? One of you raise your hand and tell. Who can tell? Tell. More splendid and most splendid. Okay, sit down. All of you write down this one in your copy. This is your class work. So all you write in your copy. If the theory proves correct, it will be a big step towards understanding the processes of life. It might also lead to new ideas for preventing some types of cancer and other diseases. All of this is possible because of Ebrard's scientific curiosity. His high school research into the purpose of the spots on a monarch pupa eventually led him to his theory about cell life. Richard Ebrard has been interested in science since the first began collecting what? Butterflies, but not so deeply that he hasn't time for other interests. Ebrard also became a champion debater and public speaker. Rather than this, Ebrard is a champion debater and public speaker and a good canoeist and all-round outdoor person. Okay, who is that? What is canoeist? What do you mean by canoeist? Yes. What happened? Who paddles a light boat is called what? Canoeist.